there, friends and sane persons, or should I say, ahoy there, mateys. I'll avoid the voice acting, I guess. My name is Kyle, and welcome to a new series that we're doing that we're going to be calling Wednesday Whimsy. So the story behind Wednesday Whimsy is that Ilya and I do the live Saturday morning show, the Würfelcast, every other week. And, it tends to be a little longer, and we have so much to say that we don't often get to talk about everything that I want to talk about. I play a lot of games. I mean, like a lot of games. And I figured there would probably just be a little bit more that I could do by myself in a weekly format, hopefully. And we could talk about a few things that I think will be interesting. If they aren't, hey, you don't have to watch. What we're going to be doing is basically every Wednesday, I'm going to do a 25 minute-ish show, and I'm going to be talking about something, right? I'm going to be talking about a board game sometimes, like a review type setting. I'm going to be talking about, a board game topic, mechanism, artwork. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Or I might do a top 10 list that doesn't really suit the Saturday morning joint show, like, my top 10 solo games or my top 10 Summoner Wars factions or something like that. It's going to be whatever is on my mind. It's going to be at my whim and at my whimsy. So that's, I guess, sort of where the name came from. Anyway, it's going to be a work in progress, and I hope you'll enjoy it, and I hope you'll be able to give suggestions about topics that you think will be interesting to you. I'm going to try and do it almost every Wednesday, always at 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, and obviously I will miss it a few times if I'm on the road or something comes up, but I'm hoping to be really regular. Anyway, without further ado, I want to talk about the first topic, which is a game that exploded onto my table about a month ago. It arrived from the Kickstarter, and it was one that I had backed and then forgotten about. And when it came, it made a big splash. The game, of course, is Dead Reckoning. Dead Reckoning is a game from AEG. I'm trying to position it here. It's from AEG, and it is what features their card crafting system. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But really, what it is it's a pirate game. It's a game where you are a crew of pirates or merchant, I don't know, whatever you want. You decide that throughout the game. And you're going to be sailing around. And really what this is what's often referred to as a 4X game. 4X is a term that I actually hate because it's about four terms that don't start with the letter X, but they are explore, exploit, exterminate, and expand. I don't know. Either way, it's usually limited to space games, but it is also very nicely implemented right here in Dead Reckoning. And so you're going to be a pirate in command of a pirate crew that you're going to build and develop. You're going to be sailing around, occasionally attacking opponents or merchant ships, however you want. You'll be building up an empire of islands that you control, and then you can produce goods on those islands and take them back home and store them away in your little treasure chest. You can be going after goals. You can try and be really fast and sail around. Really, whatever you want to do, this game really offers it. And as I mentioned before, it uses what's called the card crafting system. So I don't know, maybe you've heard of this before. It was a system that I believe debuted in a game called Mystic Vale. As far as I know, there are 4 games in the system. There's Mystic Vale, Custom Heroes, Edge of Darkness, and now Dead Reckoning. But what you're going to be doing is, in each of those games, you have a fixed number of cards, and you never change them like in a deck building game. Instead, you're going to be improving them with these little transparent inserts that you're going to be inserting. So essentially, what you do in Dead Reckoning is, over the course of the game, you're going to come across these things, and you're going to buy them, and then the game allows you to slot them into your card. Kind of, see, you've got a deck of 12 cards that are the same for everybody. You've got different ones in here, but you're going to slot them in, which I'm sure I can do. Obviously, I can't do it when I'm on camera, but you're going to, the joys of live streaming. You're going to slot them in, and you'll see that it goes down there, and now this card has a different ability. It has one ability here and one ability here. And so when you play it, it's going to be a little bit better than the first time you played it. And that's kind of the core idea. You're eventually going to build these cards up to be monstrous, to be exactly what you want them to be for your strategy. And also what's kind of special about the game is that you are upgrading the cards in another way. We talked about these plastic transparent cards, but also through the course of the game, every single turn, you're going to choose one of your cards, you're going to take it out of its sleeve, and you're going to upgrade it to the next level. So now this card, instead of just giving me a stupid barrel, it also gives me a barrel and a cannon, plus whatever I get from up here. And you'll see over here is an indication of what's going to be the next level. Each card can go up to level 4, and they'll get different things. You get a little sheet at the beginning of the game that shows you what you might expect to find on the cards. It's not a surprise, but you're constantly going to be upgrading these cards, both with the little plastic cards and by flipping them around and turning them into better and better things. You're also upgrading yourself. You've got a ship, since you're a pirate, and you've got this ship, and you'll see this ship has it has 2 sails, so it's got a little bit of speed, and it's got some cargo. I see that I'm holding it upside down. That's brilliant. And it's got 1 cannon. But over the course of the game, you can buy these little extra tiles, which are going to fit in there, and they give it a new ability. So now it has an extra sail and an extra cannon. And there's a whole bunch of these. But what the advantage of these upgrade things is, first of all, it gives you some points at the end of the game. But secondly, it's always with you. Cards are going to go into your deck and be shuffled, but these upgrade tiles that you buy, they're always there. So you can sort of customize your own ship, build your own ship of dreams, and make it so that you can always plan to be able to do every turn whatever you want. And so there's that. And then the last thing, back to card crafting, I guess that upgrade wasn't really a card craft, is there's a small expansion called the Sea Dogs. And you're going to get a number of these extra cards at the beginning of the game, and you're just going to slot them in and start the game with them. Like this gunner here can become a master gunner, and you would just essentially take the gunner piece out and put this in front. And now you'll see he has a special ability. As soon as he gets up to level 2, he can activate it every time you play the card. So it allows you to have just a little bit more customization, a little bit more upgrades, so that the deck is slightly different from game to game. So let's talk about what makes the game so special. Really, everything. But I forgot to explain one thing, and that is how the combat works. The combat is another kind of special thing here. And unlike some games where you're going to roll dice or play cards, in this game, combat is driven by a little bit of a different mechanism. You've got this strange ship, which unfortunately you have to put together. This is an extra one. There's another one that looks more like this is a ghost ship. There's one that looks like a regular ship in the box. And then you have this little tableau, and it's kind of like a cube tower. You're going to throw cubes in the top, and they're going to bounce out onto this board. And let me just kind of show this board here. Based upon where the cubes land, it's going to give you different abilities. You'll see that there are some crowns here. The crown is whoever gets the most crowns is going to win the battle. You'll see that there are these fire symbols. These are damage. So if you land a cube in there, you're going to damage your opponent. There's this one right here in the middle. That's an explosion symbol. So you're going to pick up that cube and add 1 extra to it. And so then you'll drop those back in, and that can repeat to give you more success than you were hoping for. And then the rest of these are going to be various plunder spaces where you're going to get coins, which is points in the game, or barrels, which are the goods you use to buy things. And so you're going to drop them in, and then you have combat abilities on your cards. The number of cubes you get to drop is equal to the number of cannons you have available to you, either on cards or on upgrades on your ship. Then you'll see who wins. You can get some bonuses by sinking other players occasionally, but that's not the only goal in the game. You can also steal their money if you sink them. Ultimately, what you're going for here is there's various goals that you're trying to get at some point in the game, and you'll get bonus points. And these are going to be also the game timer. As soon as somebody's completed 4 goals, that will signal the end of the game. So what's special there, right? The combat's really fun. It's very dynamic. It's not ever predetermined. You can have just one cube, just that free cannon that's always on your ship, and still win. If you're lucky, right? If you get that explosion a couple of times, or if you're the only person who lands in a crown and your opponent gets a whole bunch of barrels and stuff, but doesn't actually win the combat. And that's kind of fun, right? You never quite know what's going to happen. It's kind of gimmicky, I'll say that, but it also is really enjoyable every time it happens. It's just a lot of fun. Also, the upgrade system is super special here. It allows you to do whatever you want. You can, at the start of the game, you get this little tile that says you'll get extra points for a couple of these goals. You can ignore it or go for it however you want. But what you're really doing is you're saying, okay, this game, I'm going to be a monster in combat. I'm going to buy every cannon I can get. I'm going to upgrade those gunners to the top, and I'm going to destroy every combat that I have. Or you can say, forget combat. I don't want to mess with it. I'm just going to sail around. I'm going to make a ship that's super fast and light and has a lot of cargo space. And then I'm just going to avoid combat. I'm going to sail around, because it's not like you can just attack somebody whenever you want. There's actually a symbol you have to attack people, unless they put their pirate flag up and say, here I am, I want to be attacked. So, you can sort of run around and trade and pick up goods and deliver them. It's all up to you. And you can make your cards whatever you want them to be. It's really very special. This is definitely the best implementation of the card crafting system, which I talked about before. The other three games, Edge of Darkness is okay, but Mystic Vale and Custom Heroes, it felt like the game was all about that. Here in Dead Reckoning, the game is about having a pirate adventure, and you're just using these card upgrades to get there. But because it's all in your own hands, it's going to make each game feel different, no matter how you're playing it. So turns are usually pretty fast in this game, although they can slow down a bit if somebody has a lot of abilities to go through, or decides to go through more than one combat. But that doesn't happen that often. I find that it's your turn usually about when you're ready for it. So those are some things that are really special, and I'm not sure that they really ever exist in that form in any other game. There's also just a sense of exploration and adventure, and I really enjoy that. So you may be asking, where's the but? Right? Not every game is perfect. In fact, most games are not perfect. And this game also is truly imperfect. It has a couple of things that aren't so great. First of all, the rule book is a bit of a rough read. It's organized in kind of a strange way, and there are some areas that you're going to have to be referencing constantly until you get the game under your belt, like, the order of operations in a combat, or things like that, or sort of what scores, because it doesn't always make immediate sense. And so I really wish that there had been a better player aid. There is a player aid that gives you kind of an idea of some things, but it doesn't have enough information as a quick reference for something that, like the combat, that tends to happen a lot. Now, after you've got the game down, you won't need it anymore anyway. And the symbols, I will say, are pretty self-explanatory. There's only 5 or 6, and so it's very clear that, when you see this barrel icon, that means you get a barrel. But it's kind of funny, actually, because where you get the goods, the barrels and the coins, usually they show up where you don't want them. The barrels show up in the harbor, and you've got to go and pick them up and then bring them out to buy something. And the coins show up on your ship, and you've got to lug them all the way back, because they're taking up space and preventing you from using other abilities. So that's kind of an interesting way to do it. But so, yeah, again, the rule book, no player aid. The player aids are kind of underwhelming. There's also kind of I guess, a very strange complaint, and that is it comes with these really nice coins, which are your score, and you keep them in a little treasure chest that only you can look in and know what they are. But they come in denominations of 1, of 3, of 10, and of 30. Yet almost everything in the game gives you 5 coins. I mean, like, not everything, but like the island scoring, it's usually at a denomination where a 5 would be really useful. And there are no 5s. And so, I mean, it's an easy fix. You can get another 5. Like I have these extra scythe coins that I'm going to put into mine so that I've got a 5 so that I don't constantly have to take, a 3 and 2 ones every time I do anything. So that's a weird, it's kind of a small component query. And then the other one is the game isn't really available. It's kind of hard to find. It came through the Kickstarter. I don't know what the distribution plans are. And then the last one, the last but is kind of an odd one too. The game has some expansions, and they are called Saga expansions. There's 2 of them. I've got them both in this box. The Saga expansion contains 2 sections. It's got these Saga cards, which are these cards that go into the various decks, and occasionally you'll come across one and it will tell you to open to a page in a book and read some sort of a story point. It'll add some things to the deck, take some things out, mess with sort of the way things are working. Those are amazing. I would always play with those. Those are a lot of fun. They add just the right amount of variety. They give you sort of an extra thing to look forward to. Absolutely recommend the Saga cards. The campaign, however, is really a dud. I mean, I don't know what to say about it other than that. What you're doing is you're going to be playing 6 games in a row, and you'll make a minor upgrade. You'll take those Sea Dogs cards, you'll get one of those in between each game, and then that's it. And at the end, you're going to see who won. You get a certain number of points for winning each particular game, and you can get points for filling out this sheet and getting different, variety of achievements or upgrading a variety of cards. And then you see who the overall winner is after 6 games. It was really underwhelming. I definitely would not recommend playing the campaign, but buying the campaign expansions to get those Saga cards, absolutely. Those are amazing, and I would always use them. So, those are kind of the buts about the game. A couple of things I didn't like that much, but they're pretty small, right? I mean, the wrong coin denominations is an easy fix, and the campaign being a dud is an easy fix. Just don't play it. You can play as many games of this as you want without the campaign. So where would I rate this? What is my final rating for Dead Reckoning? It is a 10 out of 10. I'm not going to be coy about it. This game came not out of nowhere. I knew it was coming since I ordered it 2 years ago on the Kickstarter. But it surprised me when it showed up. It surprised me with how much fun it was. Another negative is it's kind of long. I will say that, you're looking at about 2 hours unless you're playing at 2 players with people who know what they're doing. So just be aware of that. But most of the 4X style games are that long anyway, or longer. But other than that, it's just so much fun. I remember I set it up, I learned the rules, and we played it. And then immediately, just right as soon as I had finished calculating the final score, I was ready to go again. I was ready to play this 2-hour game twice in a row. It was just that much fun. I've not had a bad game of it yet. It works so well if this is your style of game. If you want a trick-taking game, obviously, look somewhere else. But if you want a pirate adventure, this is the game. It is absolutely worth the hype that it might get. It's definitely worth trying, and I really think you're going to like it. There's definitely something really special here. So I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. Definitely one of the top games of the year so far. We're about a third of the way through the year, and there are also some other great games that have come out, but this one really outshines them and is something extra special that I highly recommend. So that's that's Dead Reckoning. And that's also the end of our first episode of Wednesday Whimsy. I hope you've had a good time with it. I certainly have. I get excited, as you can tell, whenever I can talk about a game, and especially one that I like. I don't know what the topic's going to be for next time, but if you are watching this and you want to leave a comment and suggest something, I certainly would be willing to take that into consideration. Also, if you have any feedback, especially nice feedback, that would also be welcome. Anyway, it's up to you. But thank you for joining me either live or at a later time. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time talking to you. And until next time, I guess I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.